as we talk about feeling the moon and everything like that, don't write it off as something that doesn't affect you, because it does. You may not be self-aware of it in that moment, or with what you're going through in that present moment, it may be working with you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes,
And
yes,
so,
100%.
like, because me and Karen will have conversations where I'm like, oh my God, you feel that? And Karen will be like, no, I don't feel it. I feel amazing. And it's
Yeah.
like, because the moon is working with you.
Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of TMI Advice You Didn't Want. Today, we're jumping into current events, really, because at the time of filming this, we have just passed through the strawberry full moon. And I don't know about anybody out there, but there's definitely been a lot of energies. And we talked about this before with astrology on this particular podcast. There's been a lot of energies that have happened as a result of that strawberry full moon. And we want to just talk about that and just talk about experiences that maybe Ashley and I have had. And just, we'd love to hear what your experiences have been too. But in case we haven't met, my name is Karin Angelly. I'm one of the co-hosts here.
And my name is Ashley. And I'm going to chat about something quickly, and hopefully it doesn't get us into a tangent, but it often does. So that's why I'm like, stick on
No,
track.
it's cool. Let's go in the bunny holes.
So a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't feel the full moon. Oh, that doesn't affect me and all that kind of stuff. And then it's just like, or like if you grow up in the Christian realm, it's like, oh no, like that is from the devil. That's not real, all that kind of stuff. But it's like, if the moon and astrology has the power to move oceans and all that kind of stuff, like, and control animals and cycles of our entire earth, how can you think possibly that it's not affecting you? You know what I mean? Like, and I understand too from the Christian perspective, it's not astrology that is bad, but we often do a blanket because a blanket over astrology. It's the fact that it's like trusting in astrology instead of trusting in God. That's what
Yes.
makes astrology bad in the
Yeah.
Christian world, not astrology. Is putting your faith in something other than God, kind of thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
so that's my random tangent. So, as we talk about feeling the moon and everything like that, don't write it off as something that doesn't affect you, because it does. Like it has to. You may not be self-aware of it in that moment, or with what you're going through in that present moment, it may be working with you. You know
With
what I mean?
exactly. Yes.
And
Yes.
so,
100%.
like, because me and Karen will have conversations where I'm like, oh my God, you feel that? And Karen will be like, no, I don't feel it. I feel amazing. And it's
Yeah.
like, because the moon is working with you. So you're
Yeah.
going to feel even more amplified amazingness. And for me, often I will feel like that kind of clash. And I also carry a lot of, like, I have a hard time differentiating other people's stuff with my
Mm,
own.
mm.
And like, just to kind of like say put this out there, like you and Matthew are a lot more attuned and alignment in the same direction spiritually, whereas I have a co-parenting situation and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be a lot more susceptible to all the different moving
Energies.
parts too.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I often feel not amazing during this time. Whether
Yeah.
that's the only reason or not, it just, that's where I'm at. But anyway, so that's my little tangent of, even if you think it's not, it is. And it's either amplifying the goodness, or it's amplifying the hard, or you feel neutral because you don't have awareness to that yet.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So this has been a big full moon too. So let's
Mhm.
talk about it a little bit. And I just kind of want to like piggyback off what you said about the Christian and God and astrology thing. I also like, because you mentioned you're putting more power into astrology. That's something super important to remember too.
Yeah.
I know that I am more powerful than my environment being astrology, right? I know
Yeah.
that I am, but I also know it can have an effect on me. My environment can still affect me, but it's
Mhm.
my choice. It's always our choice how we react in situations, how we respond to certain situations. And so that's something to super remember. Okay. And we talked about this before on this podcast. Um, and I do think that, like, when it comes down to it, we are more powerful than those things. And it's our
Mhm.
choice if we put more power into those other things than ourselves. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
that's
wanted to throw that out
thing.
there.
Yeah, astrology isn't saying this is what's going to happen to you.
Mhm.
It's shining a light.
Yes.
So like right now, like you talked about how it's the strawberry full moon. I believe you mentioned that
Yep.
already.
Yep. Yep. June is
And
the strawberry full moon. Yep.
yeah, and when that full moon happens, we move into Cancer season. So we're now in Cancer season for the zodiac. Um, and so right now, Cancer amplifies feeling at home, emotional safety and security, and emotional well-being. Like it's all about feeling comfy and secure, and like you have a warm hug and you're grounded in your home base, right? And so some people will be like, "Oh, you're not gonna be traveling at this stage because it's all about home." Well, no, you're going to have those feelings of home amplified, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to travel. You
Right.
know what I mean? And it talks about how like it's all about your emotional well-being. And so it's just shining a light on those areas and amplifying those areas. Maybe you're very, very business focused right now, or you're in school or whatever it is. Like it's not going to mean that that gets put on hold and you have to shift to over here. It's just this is going to be screaming at you if you are completely ignoring it.
Mhm.
And that's going to be more of a focal point, but that doesn't mean that everything else stops. And that's what you have to do.
Right, right. And so, yeah, so with the strawberry full moon, in case anyone doesn't know, because I didn't really know, my husband and I, for some reason, went down the rabbit hole of learning more about the different kinds of full moons. Each month has a different named full moon. So you can go ahead and look that up on Google. I don't remember what all of them were. But June, like I said, is the strawberry full moon, and it coincides with strawberry season. It's the summer solstice, right? So, um, one thing that I learned as I was like kind of diving into this, because I don't know why I was curious, but it just kept coming up. So I'm like, I guess we should learn about this. So, but with the strawberry full moon, this is the time, like the longest day of the year was what, June 20th? And is that when the full moon was too? I don't even know. Or was it the 21st? I don't really remember,
I
but
have to
there's
look
like
at
a,
my calendar. The 21st is the show is the full moon. Was it? Sorry, no, it
yeah.
was the yeah, 21st was the full moon, and the longest day of the year was the 20th.
Yeah, so it really coincides. Those two things tend to coincide. And there's always a 5 day period around whenever a full moon happens, too, like the day of the full moon and 2 days before, 2 days after, right? So that's when you're probably going to feel the effects the most. But with the strawberry full moon, because it's the longest day of the year, it coincides with the longest day of the year. What that symbolizes is there's going to be more light shown on certain areas of your life. And that
Mhm.
can feel really uncomfortable, or that could feel really good. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
For myself, I would say on Friday, I did have in the morning, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do XYZ. I was at the hospital and I was like, I don't want to do this. But I
Mhm.
sat myself down, literally sat myself down in my first operating room case. And I said, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I went, what do I need to do to allow myself to let this go? And so I
Mhm.
started doing some things in my head, like things that I've like breathing exercises. Okay. I feel a little bit better, but I still have this yucky feeling. And it wasn't until I went, wait a minute, if I have a thought and I think I don't want to do this, why can't I change the thought to something else? Why can't I think about the things that I want to do and feel the gratitude for the things that I want to do before they happen? So that's what I
Mhm.
started doing, and immediately was like, I feel way better. And so I was like, I want to stay in this energy all day.
Mhm.
And so for the rest of the day, I was like, yep, this is how I want to feel. I want to feel the gratitude. I started thinking about like future experiences that my husband and I have talked about wanting to do, and was like, yeah, that's so fun. Like, let's do that, like in a really great way. Now, if you start doing this and you find yourself getting more into a despair state, you're probably feeling lack in that moment. And for me, it was like, it was the best because I was feeling that abundance that I wanted to
Mhm.
feel, right?
Yeah.
So I was feeling this low place when I woke up in the morning, but for the rest of the day, after pretty much after like 8 o'clock in the morning, I was like, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. This is crappy. I don't want to feel like crap for the rest of the day. And then the rest of the day, I had a great day, right?
Mhm.
So the thing is that kind of experience can happen with a full moon or just in regular life because
Oh, for
we
sure. Yeah.
tend to be in these cycles of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking. So our brain is sending out a thought, our body is responding and going, oh, you want to feel sad? I can feel sad. Your body's going, great, I'll feel sad. And then our body just starts to feel sad. And the feelings of feeling sad sends a signal to our brain saying, oh, I'm going to think sad thoughts. But at any moment, we can change that cycle. We don't have to stay in the cycle of thinking and feeling a certain way. And you can go, you know what? There's energies right now that are happening around me. There always are energies happening around you, whether it's astrology, people around you, environments, your body, time. There's always energies around you. And you can choose to shift into those lower energies, or you can choose to say, no, I see where the light is shining on that thing, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. And this is
Mhm.
a practice skill set. Okay. This is not something that I just woke up today and went, I want to start doing this. Something that I've practiced for a long time. And because I've practiced it, I can now know I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel like this. I want
Mhm.
to feel a level of gratitude or bliss or love or whatever. I would rather feel that way. So I don't have to sit in that vibrational state that I chose. And so I would definitely say, like, the strawberry full moon, any full moon really, is going to pull out things like that, where you
Mhm.
can actually choose, do I want to continue to feel XYZ? Or do I want to say, what could I do right now to change my emotional state, to change my thoughts, to
Mhm.
change how I'm feeling, to change what's going on? Because our body and our mind, if we are, if we say we're like, we're in this state where we're like, oh, I just don't feel good. And then your brain is like, oh, I don't feel good. You do get in that cycle and you keep doing that over and over again until you decide it's time for something new.
Mhm.
So when you look at astrology and energies like that, how can you work with them?
Mhm.
How can you continue to amplify? Because the energy doesn't have to be good or bad, but you can use it to amplify whatever you're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's kind of like when the light shines on that dark spot, because there's more light in this solstice time. And then the moon amplifies feelings. So if something would normally feel like a 5 out of 10 bad, it's going to feel like a 7 or 8 bad, depending on your self-awareness and where you're at. So now that light is being shone on it, and it's like, holy cow, that needs to be fixed, right? Or transmuted, however you want to word it. And so I need to transmute this darkness into light because it doesn't like it,
Mm-mm.
right? The
Yeah.
darkness is like that vampire in the sun burning. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want this. And so you can run and hide that darkness somewhere where the light's not shining and sweep it under a rug and not deal with it. And it's going to be burning and struggling and hurting, or you can deal with it.
Mhm.
And it's not comfortable, it's not easy. And so that's where you're like, okay, I don't want to feel this way. How do I transmute this? And there's a very fine line between hiding it under the rug and actually dealing with it. And a lot of people think that they're dealing with it, but really they're just pushing it under because it's still there and still burning and still struggling, but it's not as bad because it's now pushed into the darkness, out of the light, and out of your awareness. So, yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what makes this time harder for a lot of people. And then if you have like more like for me, I feel things very strong already. So I'm a very sensitive person to begin with. And so then like something that might feel like a 5 for you, and not saying this, but just like people in general, everyone's going to feel the same thing in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel things a lot more dramatically than a lot of people. So then that's instead of it being a 7, a 5, it's a 7. And then the full moon amplifies it to a 9. And so everyone has their different scale of like how they feel things. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong or there's more self-awareness or any of that kind of stuff, but just two different people can go through the same thing and feel it in different ways.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so you have to be cognitive of that too, of how is this affecting me right now and have I properly dealt with this?
Yeah. And a lot of that does have to do with our traumas, right? So something that like maybe I feel something really, really deeply, and you look at me and go, I don't understand why you feel that so deeply because you don't struggle with that. You don't have the same trauma. You don't have the same um maybe thoughts and feelings around a certain thing. Like you haven't
Yeah.
created the same level of storytelling to yourself, right? That maybe I have told myself about
Yeah.
certain things that might be true, might not be true. Most of the time it's not true. That's the thing that I've learned. When you start telling yourself stories about how you feel, you're probably just making shit up. Like because you want to make yourself feel better in some way because there's a trauma that maybe you haven't dealt with. So,
Well, your brain wants connection too.
yeah.
So, if you haven't rewired your brain, you have, so for me, I have an abandonment wound from trauma of my childhood. So I have a little wire in my brain that's like, I feel abandoned.
Hmm.
And I haven't shrunk that wire back. And so there's actually, this is a neurological thing. My favorite book is Who Switched Off Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. But I know you like Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks about
They're
it in
very
different
similar.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can actually do brain scans to see the branches shifting. And so right now I have a negative childhood trauma that is a black branch that's wiggling around saying, I feel abandoned, and trying to make connections to my current situations. And so then when I have something that happens and it's like, oh yeah, I can click these together and make it make sense, then it adds to that long black branch of feeling abandoned. Whereas the intention over here might have been completely different, and how I interpreted it and through my
Totally.
lens is completely different. It wouldn't have clicked normally. And so we find ways to make those connections when there's no real reason for it. Just like for my partner, he feels controlled as a wound of his childhood because his parents and his ex and relationships in his life are always very controlled. And so I can be asking a question that has nothing to do with like, I'm not even like this is what I want to happen, you know? I'm like, oh, I could enjoy this. And he hears control and clicks that branch. And it was even something I necessarily wanted. It was just a random question. But when we have those strong branches from our childhood wounds, and then we have adolescent and adult experiences and relationships that build upon that, it makes those branches, those trees really strong in our brain. And so that's where like your meditation work, my journaling, because I'm more on that side of things, it shrinks those branches and makes them less strong. And then you can grow white trees instead of black trees, where it's like, I am loved and secure. And so then when something comes up, instead of it being abandoned, it's going to be loved and secure. And the same situation is going to build a secure attachment versus an abandoned disattachment. So,
Right. Yeah. And the thing that's hard about everything that you said is that changing those neurological networks in your brain is not always an easy task because, first of all, you have to be aware that it's happening,
yeah.
right? One of the best things, like anybody that's listening, one of the best things that will show you that either you have somewhere to work or maybe you're not fully aware of something is when you feel triggered. Like, for
Mhm.
example, talking about like your significant other where he hears something and then it just immediately goes to, I feel controlled. There's a trigger there. When you feel a trigger, say somebody says something to you or does something to you, if it immediately makes you angry, frustrated, overwhelmed, whatever you want to put in there, there is a trigger that's happening. And that's how you can start to become aware of yourself. When you start noticing the thoughts and feelings that you're having on a second by second basis, and then going, is that how I want to feel? So just like I talked about on Friday when I had this like, woe is me, I don't want to be here. And I went, wait, this isn't the energy I want to show up as. This isn't who I want to continue to be.
Yeah.
So asking yourself, do you want to stay there or do you want to do something different? This is like it in that day it was like a continual asking myself, do I want to stay there? And the answer was no. And the more I said no, I don't want to do that, the easier it got. Just like
Mhm.
when you practice anything in life. Say somebody wants to be like the best basketball star in the world, right? It took a lot of practice for them to get really good at layups. It took a lot of practice for them to build that muscle memory for free throws. It takes a lot to do the same thing with your mind. You're creating that muscle memory in your brain, those neurological networks where you're going, do I want to keep those neurological networks talking to each other, or do I want to break that pattern? And it's a repetitive over and over until you finally go, I'm not that person anymore. This is how
Mhm.
you literally break those patterns and become somebody completely different, so that now when somebody says something to you that used to trigger you, you can now go, oh, well, they're just saying this because like they're looking out for me. They're looking to help me in some way, shape, or form, right? So instead of getting frustrated and angry, like you can just go, oh, it's okay. And honestly, I know when I've changed because I react differently in certain situations that would have triggered me before, right? So
Yeah.
I look at a recent event that happened with me where this actually doesn't have anything to do with me, but this illustrates the point really well. Where I said something to somebody in a way for it to be, well, how can I help you with this kind of thing? Like I basically was like, well, what could you do differently in this situation? That's all
Yeah.
I asked. And the
Yeah.
person blew up at me. And it was like, it wasn't what I said because I was looking to like find a better solution for us, right? Like
Mhm.
what could you do differently so that
Out
I
of
know.
care and love.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different frequency, but the person picked up on it in a negative way and blew up at me, right? And so when those situations happen, we can ask ourselves, wait, what's going on here? This is a signal that I'm sending to myself, because the thing that we think is that we think our blind spots are so blind and we can't see them. But literally, we are always showing ourselves what we are looking to change, how we don't want to feel. Like if you're looking at yourself and going, ooh, that was an overreaction. How come I overreacted that way? Is there something that I'm not shining a light on? So, going back to the strawberry full moon, is there something I'm not shining a light on that if I start like noticing this pattern, am I doing this all the time? If I
Mhm.
start noticing it and start changing it, could my life be so different that I wouldn't even know who I am anymore? So
Yeah.
another example of this, I had a friend recently. She was like, I didn't even know that I was doing this, but I realized that I keep creating these circumstances with men where these negative circumstances keep happening over and over again. And I didn't even realize I had a subconscious hate against men. She was
Mhm.
like, I had no idea, but my outside reality was showing me that I have this subconscious thought that's not serving me anymore. Right.
Mhm.
So it just was like shining that light. And this happened recently. So I do think that like the full moon energy kind of brought it out for her and made her go, oh, okay, that's interesting. I need to do something different. So notice your reactions. If you want to change your life, the first step is just to become aware of how you show up in life. If you're
Mhm.
showing up frustrated, if you're showing up angry, if you're showing up overwhelmed, there's probably a pattern there, and you're telling yourself that you probably don't want to keep feeling that way. I know for me, I don't like feeling that way.
No.
But if you're in that pattern, it's time to do something different. It's time to
Mhm.
ask yourself, do I want to keep doing this? And the strawberry full moon is doing a really great job of showing us what are some patterns that we can actually change and actually start doing something different in our life.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and your like friend that had that concept of men is kind of like that. I think it's a TikTok, a viral TikTok. I've had it come up in my life a couple of times with like friends talking about it, about how um attractive females that are like super attractive early to go through puberty in school um often will have a view of men that they're mean users, sexual, perverted, like that kind of thing. Whereas girls that are a little bit slower to that will feel like, oh, guys are like my friend, they're safe, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll have that two different perceptions. And it's interesting because one of my really close friends, she's super, super attractive, and she never had a ton of male attention growing up, even though she's gorgeous, but she went through puberty very, very late, like almost like her boobs didn't grow until like she was an adult, and that's just a thing.
That was the same for me. I was size A and now I'm like a D. I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah, exactly. And she's very similar to you in the sense that she's also taller and all that kind of stuff. And so very similar situation. Whereas for me, I'm short. I got boobs very quickly. Probably had like I wasn't big. Like I was fairly thin. And I had like probably C cups right away. And so in high school, I had C cups and had a zero waist, and I got a lot of male attention. And when a guy hits on me or would hit on me, my initial reaction is, oh, he's a fucking pervert.
Mm,
Literally, like that. Whereas she's like, oh, this feels so good.
yeah,
And
get some
like,
attention.
yeah. And like it wasn't like a negative, like she wasn't like attention seeking
Right.
or like putting more weight in it. It was just like, oh, that was a nice compliment. It feels really good. That guy gave me a nice compliment. Whether it was a guy or a girl, it was the same. And for me, if a guy gave me a compliment, it was like gross, go away.
Hmm.
And if a girl gave me a compliment, it was, oh, that feels good. So,
Hmm.
but she had that reaction with both genders, and I did not because our brains are wired in two different ways. And so it's like a very simple way of looking at it because it's not necessarily like a trauma, like it's
Right.
not something like, ooh, I really need to make sure I work on that because I'm able to have friendships with males. So it's not creating toxic trauma in my life, but it is a wiring of, oh, guys, when they give compliments, are perverts and they're wanting something out of it. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very interesting concept. Like our brain, when it starts developing, like when we're around that like 5 to 8 years old, is it's looking to make connections. And that's all it wants to do. And so sometimes the connections it makes are definitely with our lenses of how we view the world. And it's can be very, very wrong. And that's where like if I talk about my childhood trauma with my mom, she's like, that makes no sense to me. And she was the one that caused a lot of my childhood trauma. And she's like, I don't understand. But my brain was making connections in a
Right.
very specific way. And I have a lot of childhood trauma.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is that when you're a kid, you're looking at your life. Generally, it's not in a logical mindset because you're going through these different brainwave patterns when you're in a younger state. So when you're between the ages of like 5 and 8, you're in more of a dream-like state. So you're more likely to have imaginary friends. You're more likely to be living in your mind more than anything. And so things will happen to you and you create this maybe false reality that isn't actually the truth. And so when you become an adult, you tend to carry a lot of those thoughts and feelings with you from when you were a child. And so now that man will say something to you and you'll go, ew, he's a pervert, or, ooh, I feel really good, because you have certain like attachments to what that meant from when you were a child. It's not that it's
Yeah.
right, wrong, good, or bad, because the thing is that you can create certain things in your life as a result of certain patterns. The question is, are you creating what you want to create? So if you're sitting here going, all men are evil, you're going to create a situation probably where men are evil to you, right?
Mhm.
Like, so it's not that it's right, wrong, good, or bad. It's just, is that actually serving you to create what you want to create in your life? And we all do this. We all have, I don't care how long you've been working on your mind, we all have these things in our head that we created from when we were kids. And it's just a question of, do we want to keep thinking that way? Like, do
Yeah.
we want to keep doing that? Is that serving us?
Mhm.
Or is it really not that effective? Like, an example of this, like before we got on this call, we were talking about sex workers, right? And for you and I, Ashley, we were like, we don't understand like the whole sex working orgy situation. Like that doesn't compute for me. And
Mhm.
for me, what I want to create in my life, I know that that's not really something that I need to go down that path, right? That doesn't need to be a part of what I do in my life, right? I don't need to have a lot, like I don't have to have orgies, I don't have to do all these things. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that being a part of my creation. Now, if
Mhm.
it was hurting me to think that way, I might ask myself, is there something I need to do differently here? If I'm actually looking to be a sex worker, I probably should change my thoughts and feelings about that particular field, right? I need to change my thoughts and feelings so that I can become a sex worker. But for me,
Mhm.
that's not what I want to create in my life. So that's not a belief system that I necessarily want to change, because it's just, that's not my reality. That's not the thing for me. But a lot of times when we're looking to reinvent ourselves, and I'm preaching to the choir here, okay? Like, I realize this in my own life. When I want to reinvent myself, I have to change my belief systems around certain things in order to reinvent myself. So, like I said, if I wanted to be a sex worker, I have to change my thoughts and feelings towards what it means to be a sex worker if I want to be an actual good sex worker that makes a lot of
Well,
money.
I think that is a nice kind of compare and contrast. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but like a lot of people listening, not all, but a lot of people listening probably like if you're like, okay, you're going to now have to um like sleep with people to make money. Like that's a requirement for you. You're going to have to do that. I maybe it's just because I'm so not there. Like so not there. Even if you told me I had to like send guys naked pictures of myself, it'd be like, no. And again, my wiring isn't because of my body. Like I'm very comfortable being naked. It's the whole men are perverts. I'm not sending a pervert a picture of myself. Like, no, thank you. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing this through my lens, but I'm assuming that if you were told that you had to start sleeping with people for money or you were going to starve and die, people would be like, "Oh shit, I can't do that." And maybe not, but um yeah, because I'm not a casual sex person either. So it's very whatever. But anyways, it's the same idea with you need to rewire your brain in this way to be able to have healthy relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You need to rewire your brain this way to get rid of your eczema, your cancer,
Yeah.
your whatever it is. It's the same thing. And we're told, okay, this is causing this illness, this bad relationship, whatever it is. And it's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. It would be impossible. Like, if you told me I had to go and sleep with someone for money, I'd be like, I'll starve. Like, no, thank you. And it's that same wiring that is trying to make us feel safe. And it's like, okay, you need to rewire this so that you can be successful in business. You need to rewire this so that you can lose weight. You need to rewire this so that you don't have heart disease anymore, or gut health problems anymore, or anxiety anymore. And people are so comfortable with where they're at with their belief systems and who they are, that their brain is like, that's not even possible. I can't do that. Like, there's no way.
Right. Yeah. But it's taking those small steps
Mm-hmm.
forward when it is uncomfortable, because well, a lot of times our brain and body, when we're like, maybe we're thinking, I want to be good at XYZ, but our body is going, you can't do that. Like, there's a disconnect between the thought and the feeling. So your brain being the thought, your body being the feeling. So when you can actually get those to connect and say the same thing, that's when you're in alignment, and that's when your life is absolutely going to change, in my opinion. When it's
Yeah.
like, oh, now things just happen, and I didn't even have to do anything to create that, because I'm now in alignment. So one thing that came up for me recently, I don't know where I came up with this, but if you're in a situation right now and you're going, I don't know how to get out of this, the only way to get out is in, and meaning inside of you. And I had that thought, that was some sort of download that came to me recently, that if you're in a situation where you're like, I don't know how to get out, the only way to get out is in. Look at yourself. What's going on inside on a regular daily basis? That's how you change. And you can use, to kind of tie this back to the strawberry full moon, you can use those higher energy peaks of a full moon to really examine yourself. This is the time for self-love. This is the time for noticing yourself more. What are the thoughts and feelings that come up? And what do you want to feel instead? What do you want to think and feel instead? And then ask yourself, how do I do that? I know somebody that used to get into this depths of despair, and she'd be like, oh my God, like, I feel like I'm gonna die. And she was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. So she would lock herself in the room, and she would look at pictures of herself when she was in a happy place, and she would put herself back in that happy place again and go, oh yeah, that's how I want to feel instead. And she wouldn't come out of her room until she felt that way. That's how she rewired her brain away from those depressive thoughts where she wanted to kill herself, right? Like, you have to find, if you are feeling a certain way, I don't care if it's anger, frustration, anxiety, overwhelm, I don't care what it is. If you're feeling that way, how long do you want to feel like that? How long do you want to feel like that? Or do you want to try doing something different to help change your thoughts and your feelings around that? So, yeah. With that, I think we did a good job with this one. So I guess we're going to call TMI Advice You Didn't Want a wrap for today. So friends, if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. And we'd also love to hear from you in the comments. So let us know what your thoughts were. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting host, give us a 5-star. And once again, leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. But with that, we will see everyone next time on TMI Advice You Didn't Want. Thanks so much for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue hanging out with us, and don't forget to subscribe.